beautiful Foxwoods Resort in Ledyard, Connecticut for professional boxing on ESPN2. And our first bout, a scheduled 10-round welterweight clash between Jose Antonio Rivera and Slick Willie Wise. And there's Willie Wise fighting out of Westbury, New York, originally from Onancock, Virginia. 23-4 with 6 KOs. And in the other corner, Jose Antonio Rivera out of Worcester, Massachusetts, and he is perfect at 23-0 with 17 knockouts. I'm Gus Johnson along with Dave Bontempo, and we're all set for round number 1. Jose Antonio Rivera, 23 years old. Willie Wise, 28. And recently, when you talk to Rivera about his evolution, Dave, he'll tell you that within the past year, he's really gotten into his boxing skills, and they've flourished for him.
Well, he came out with a lot of early knockouts in his career, one-rounders, which built his confidence, but not necessarily his skills. So in 1995, he had a lot of distance fights, went 10 rounds, understood that feeling. Now he's hooked up with Jesse Reed, an excellent trainer who's had people like Orlando Canizales and right now Hector Camacho, and he's learning a little bit more about the science part of this game.
Now remember, this is the first fight of a 2-hour telecast with our main event coming up for the WBU Junior Welterweight Championship. Louis Viter against Mickey Ward, a rematch of a bout that took place at the Fleet Center in Boston on April 13th, in which Mickey Ward came out successful with a 9th round knockout. So Jose Antonio Rivera in the blue trunks, Willie Wise in the purple. Wise 23-4 with 6 knockouts, a veteran, and he's fought some very good competition in his career thus far.
He's a pretty slick counterpuncher, and he will need those skills in this bout, hoping to show Rivera some things he hasn't seen yet. And Rivera, meanwhile, being all business here, jab right hand.
And we'd like to apologize because our clock is not working, so we will be updating you on the time. And there's Wise, doubling up the jab. Less than a minute to go in round number 1, scheduled for 10.
Let him go. Wise tying up now and then getting away. Trying to be cute on the inside there. It didn't really work for him. And Rivera gets back. Nice hook by Rivera. That shot is there for him, especially if he does it behind the jab.
Seconds to go in round number 1. Rivera known to have a nice surplus of power in that right hand. And welcome back. I'm Gus Johnson along with Dave Bontempo, and we're getting an opportunity to see Rivera and Wise right now, but the main event is one that a lot of people, especially in this New England area, will be looking forward to seeing.
Pretty interesting, as we had the first time where Mickey Ward was able to come up with a knockout. He was trailing in the fight, not by too much, but then he was able to switch on the inside late in that bout and score the knockout here. There was the knockdown at the end of round 8. And then in the 9th round, he was able to put it away. Mickey Ward is an excellent fighter with the ability to switch styles. He's not bad righty, but Gus, when he goes lefty, he can explode on the inside. He did it in the last fight, and that's what his opponent, Viter, will try to take away tonight.
So Louis Viter and Mickey Ward will be our main event this evening for the WBU Intercontinental Junior Welterweight title. But right here, it's Willie Wise and Jose Antonio Rivera as they begin round number 2, scheduled for 10. And there's Wise putting together the combination and stepping out of trouble. And that's one thing Wise is known for, is counterpunching as well.
Well, at some point in this fight, he needs to establish that he can trade on some level with Rivera, even though that's not what he wants to do the entire fight.
Rivera came into this fight knowing that Wise possessed the ability to make people miss and to counter very well. So he wants to get out early, establish himself, and show his power. There you see him banging to the body.
And Rivera will have to do it with power, as you see these guys trading uppercuts on the inside. Wise actually outpunched to 20-13 in the first round, although Rivera had the better power. He doesn't want the numbers to work in the favor of Wise. He wants to let the power take care of that, and now he's going downstairs. Wise is using the ropes here, backing up, using some leverage, and Rivera digging downstairs. We've got a nice fight going here.
A minute and a half to go in round number 2. And Willy Wise came into this fight 151. Rivera scoring with the left hook.
Well,
had to lose 3 pounds in 52 minutes. Will that take anything out of him?
Losing 3 pounds the day before is not the best thing you want to do, but because the weigh-in was last night, at least that's a big help, as opposed to having the steam taken out of you the day of the fight. It's still not a healthy situation.
And Rivera came into this fight with a game plan, as you see the punches in round number 1.
As I mentioned them earlier, Wise up by 7 there. Now the question in those numbers will be the power, which doesn't count the same way. But Wise doing a nice slick job here on the inside, and got ourselves a nice little cat and mouse struggle going on here.
Rivera's game plan, putting punches together, combinations. But Willy Wise, and talking to him, Dave, he really feels that Rivera has never seen the kind of talent that he's seeing right now with the veteran fighter standing toe-to-toe.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. There's a prize for every touchdown and interception during TSN telecasts. Prizes like a Daewoo 27-inch stereo TV, a Unit and cordless phone and answering system, a Dirt Devil Ultra handbag and cordless broom vac, or a packing case from Skyway Luggage. Or win a trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway feature product, Minute Rice. Cottonelle bathroom tissue. Touchdown to Win at Safeway, today's better way.
Now's the time for your favorite snack. McCain! Pizza Pockets! McCain captures perfect pizza taste in a pocket. Ready for that first bite. Now's the time for your favorite snack. Perfect pizza taste in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess, just taste. McCain! Pizza Pockets! Just perfect pizza taste.
And we begin round number 5. Gus Johnson along with Dave Bontempo, Willy Wise in purple, Jose Antonio Rivera in blue.
And I'll tell you what, they've been taking turns going back and forth. Fight looks even to me so far through 4 rounds.
And don't forget, coming up, our main event, Irish Mickey Ward will be taking on Louis Viter for the WBU Intercontinental Junior Welterweight title. That is a rematch of a bout that took place at the Fleet Center on April 13th, in which Ward came out victorious. And Dave, having this fight even, I think, is the general consensus, especially in the corner of Jose Rivera. His trainer, Jesse Reed, between rounds said, hey, you got to keep the pressure on this guy because we cannot afford to come out of this thing with a draw.
So true, because he's got the star here. He's got a little bit better billing. He's got no defeats. and it might seem like a loss in the boxing community if he came out with a draw. And in that round, he couldn't get the body punching going. He was nowhere near as accurate, and the counter punching of Wise, which you see there, was effective.
And when it comes to draws, Willie Wise has 4. And when I asked him yesterday how did he come up with so many draws, he said, well, they always pair me with fighters that they think are supposed to beat me. I surprise them, and I should win the fight. But because I was supposed to lose, I always wind up with a draw. That's why I have 4.
Well, when you see a guy with 4 draws, you've got to figure he at least won 2 of them. And therefore, somebody who knows how to fight in tight situations, hence the advice given to Rivera that don't let this get to that stage, work the body. But he's not getting to Wise here in the 5th as well either.
Less than a minute to go in the 5th round. We're at the beautiful Foxwoods Resort in Ledyard, Connecticut at the Fox Theater.
Well, Wise is what some people would call a cutie. Goes in and out, doesn't punch very much, but he's not very easy to hit. And he's patient enough to stay in the style of a boxer and therefore can spoil you. That's a difficult opponent when you're a good knockout puncher like Rivera.
Right back to the box.
15 seconds to go.
We make maple leaf wieners for Courtney, who will only eat Mr. Broccoli if he hasn't touched Mr. Gravy. We make maple leaf wieners for Tim, who says peas explode in his mouth. And for Caitlin, whose scrambled eggs must be shaped like little boats. Maple leaf wieners have a taste made especially for kids. For Kenny, who won't eat anything with sauce, and Jason, who won't eat anything without sauce, there will always be maple leaf.
Of a scheduled 10-round welterweight fight between Willie Wise and Jose Rivera. Rivera not able to find Willie Wise as much as he would like.
And he really needs to start finding him with the jab to set up everything else in this bout. So far landing with only 4 of 35 jabs in this contest, and he needs to get his offense flowing behind that. Rivera had some good body work going in the 2nd round of the bout. Hasn't exactly been able to duplicate that since, as Wise has moved.
Wise doing a good job slipping punches, stepping out of trouble. And here's Rivera banging the body with Wise on the ropes.
And Wise, with the bit of the edge we talked about in terms of the punches landed, and I talked about the lack of percentage for Rivera, that's very low for him. Here's a knockout puncher landing 1/3 of his shots. That's not very much. You have to credit the slickness of Wise for that. Able to move his head, some subtle movement on the inside, and playing enough of a spoiler role stylistically.
A minute and a half to go. Oh, great combination by Willie Wise.
You saw some excellent head movement there by Wise, and then he was able to counter. The question is, can he do that all night? He doesn't want to be in the corner here.
And a right hand right on the button. Willie Wise, known as a counter puncher, and he has done that to perfection thus far. Through 6 rounds.
It is usually so hard for a counter puncher to win because you're throwing less, and therefore your accuracy has to be so much higher. But Wise is working that style very well in this bout.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. Jose Rivera, 23-0, 17 knockouts. Has fought twice in 1996. 5-round TKO of Sal Lopez out of Philadelphia. And an 8th-round decision over Muhammad Mocha here in Ledyard.
McCain now brings you the freshest tasting frozen pizza ever made. Introducing new McCain Pizza Premier in the unique vacuum-packed flavor lock package that seals air out so it stays fresher tasting longer. It cooks in just half the time and has a tender, no-mess rim. So whenever you're ready for pizza, McCain Pizza Premier is ready for you in fresh tasting deli lovers, pepperoni, and deluxe. McCain Pizza Premier. We've got a lock on fresh taste.
And we'd like to welcome you back to the Fox Theater here in Ledyard, Connecticut, where Willy Wise and Jose Antonio Rivera begin the 7th round. I'm Gus Johnson along with Dave Montempo. Don't forget our main event coming up following this bout. Louis Vader and Mickey Ward in a scheduled 12-rounder for the WBU Junior Welterweight title. That a rematch a fight that took place on April 13th in which Mickey Ward walked away with the 9th round knockout. 2 hours of boxing here on ESPN 2.
Wise is even getting a little bolder here. After countering so effectively, now he's leading with his jab early in this round. Based on styles, he doesn't want to get too bold, but he certainly has found a groove in this bout.
And Jesse Reed, Rivera's trainer, said that he's going to have to start making things happen, throw more combinations, and come back with the jab after Wise has countered.
He can't seem to find the range on Slick Willy Wise in this bout. As we take a look at the numbers in round 6, that's what Wise would like. A nice low-scoring battle here where not much is landed. He can win in the percentage. Look at all the misses for Rivera, only 25%. Those numbers will give Wise this bout if he can keep it up. Rivera needs to make big work out of this opportunity right here. He's got Wise cornered. He must go very hard to the body so he can slow Wise up.
Rivera fighting inside. Wise steps back into the center of the ring. There you see him trying to establish a jab, but the left hook landing for Rivera.
No need for Wise to be on the inside. You know, when he came inside in this round, for a moment he woke Rivera up. Now he has to take that momentum away. So he's had Rivera lulling and almost sleepwalking through here.
Doesn't look like Rivera is really trying to score with his jab.
He looks a bit confounded about how to get in. He's only want to show the jab here. He wants to pound with the body shots. And he's so tired of the jab not scoring that he's just flicking it now.
11 seconds remaining in round number 7.
Spending more time on your hair than breakfast? Kellogg's Nutri-Grain cereal bars, part of a complete breakfast. Good food on the go. Hitting the snooze button too many times? Kellogg's Nutri-Grain cereal bars, part of a complete breakfast. Good food on the go.
Jose Rivera looks to be trailing in this bout against Willy Wise, and Rivera right now with some swelling on the right eye.
He's tasting a lot of jabs there in the countering roll by Willy Wise. And what makes him so tough to fight is that he will stay in this style all night. He'll fight 50 rounds like this if you fought him for the next 3 days. Whereas many guys, when they have success starting to jab, they'll open up and get braver and then fight too much of a gambling type of a style. But he has not done that so far.
This is round number 8. Scheduled for 10. There's a right hand followed by a left hook by Wise. There's another left hand inside. Wise fighting inside. Then he goes to the body.
He's really starting to
show that experience.
Annoy Rivera here. Now he's getting a little bit of pop, whatever pop he has on his shots. He doubled up with a left hand, body and head. And he's got Rivera now trying to set up the one big shot. Rivera should just gamble. Try to get inside, find the body if he can, and fire everything at that body, regardless of the consequence.
And a low blow by Rivera. And he is warned. Bring it up by referee Richard Flaherty. Less than a minute to go, and Rivera starting to load up with that right hand.
He needs to coax a slugfest here, even if he has to goad Wise out of his comfortable style.
Blood starting to trickle from the nose of Willy Wise, but he lands a left hand. And continues to move. Look at all the head movement by Willy Wise.
And he's tasting a little bit more leather in this round, but previous to this, he's making Rivera miss all the time, practically.
All those punches landing for Willy Wise. Body head with the left hand. And the end of round number 8.
Give me a break, make it clean, make it cold. Give me a king. Iced tea break.
Take a refreshing break from summertime heat with frozen concentrated iced tea from McCain. McCain Iced Tea, caffeine-free, no powdery taste. A refreshing thirst-quenching beverage made with the essence of unique tea blends.
Give me a break, make it clean, make it cold.
McCain Iced Tea, no caffeine, no powdery taste. Great tasting refreshment down to a tea.
You guys have something in common. Both two are from New Zealand. He used to hunt pigs with a machete, and you doing that in Jersey.
We talked about 20 seconds about that. Our shared experience.
Dave Bontempo. Ninth round. Willy Wise has been true to his name. Very slick. Moving and hitting.
He has performed beautifully within the style he brought into this ring here. But guys like him, at times he has stylistically undressed Rivera here. He has totally, basically made him look bad at times by executing his own style perfectly. But guys like Wise traditionally have gotten the short end of the stick on the judges' scorecards for lack of activity, at least perceived that way in the eyes of the judges. So this will still be a very interesting verdict.
And Willy Wise, growing up in Onancock, Virginia, which is about 45 minutes from Norfolk, said he had a very interesting way of being disciplined as a kid. Instead of using the belt, his mother would send him out to the backyard where his older brothers would put gloves on him, and they would basically pound him for about 6 or 7 minutes, so he grew up as a boxer.
Now that's the guy that had a lot in common with David Stewart. We talked last week about him and his father making him defend the store very early in his life. Well, that's how you learn.
No blood coming out of the nose of Wise once again. Rivera bearing down a little bit more in this round.
He's been able to cut the distance a little bit, and at times, Wise is standing a little bit straighter up, some sign of fatigue, but what happens to the power in Wise's punches is not a factor in this fight, as it would be for other fighters, because he's not a good puncher anyway. He just has to get it in there.
Great body shot by Willy Wise.
Right over the shoulder. There you go. That's it. Come on, Willy.
Well, if there was nothing on Wise's punches before, there is less than nothing on them now. But he may very well be doing his job in this bout.
1 round to go.
Kick back with Eat More and enter to win a 97 GTJ. Mail in an entry form plus 2 Eat More wrappers and find out if you're a winner on TSN September 21st and 22nd. Look for displays and entry forms at participating stores including Becker's, Safeway, Cooperative Atlantic, and Max.
Hi, I'm Sparky Anderson. Tune in to TSN's Blue Jays telecast and watch for my on-the-ball features. Brought to you by Gillette's $250,000 Triple Play Challenge. Coming soon to a retailer near you.
The 10th and final round, Willy Wise, Jose Antonio Rivera, and so far it's been Wise's fight.
He really has done well as a counter-puncher, moving, being very slick, being the cutie we talked about earlier. He has done all of that, and certainly Rivera has not run into this type of a disciplined, schooled opponent yet.
Wise's goal is to be ranked in the top 10, and hopefully with the victory, he wants to fight James Page, who's ranked number 7 in the WBC next.
There's a guy who has set his sights modestly. Many fighters like to go right for a title. He's setting himself for the number 7 guy. He's taking it one step at a time. Frank, let him go. I got it. Let him go. This has certainly been a gutsy effort by Wise. Able to hang with a pretty good puncher.
A minute and a half left in the 10th and final round.
You've seen him take the steam out of some of Rivera's shots here. Rivera really needs to open up.
There's a stiff left hook by Rivera, but the counter punching by Wise, and Willy Wise able to counter punch again and score points.
Based on what we've seen, I would think that Rivera needs a knockout to win this fight.
Willy, stay off his head.
And there's a nasty cut over the left eye of Wise, but it's so late in the fight, he should be able to get around with it. Looks like heads could have come together to cause that based on where it is.
Great combination by Wise once again, and he is finishing the 10th round strong. 45 seconds to go.
Wise has fought guys like Tony Marshall, Miguel Santana, some pretty good fighters, and maybe his schedule strength has played in here. If he stays upright, he should be given this fight.
That left hand may have hurt Wise, but it may be too late.
Although a knockdown sure would be interesting.
12 seconds to go in the round. Rivera trying to rally, but Willy Wise sticking a right hand.
I got it.
And that is the end of round 10 and the end of...
Check out the ripping, twisting, crisping styling of McCain Super Spirals. Wow! Seriously twisted fries. McCain starts with its famous super fries, adds a twist, and rolls them in a light-tasting batter. And then a dash of spice for crunch after crunch of super seasoned satisfaction. McCain is twisting, spinning, and jumping your way. McCain Super Crisp and Super Spirals. Seriously twisted fries.
And you're looking at Jose Antonio Rivera, who came into this fight 23-0 with 17 knockouts, but he faced a very gamed Willy Wise, who did exactly what he wanted to do, and that's counterpunch and score. And let's go upstairs into the ring where Mark
Ladies
Vero
and gentlemen,
has the decision.
A split decision. Judge Lou Bogash scores the bout 98-95 Rivera. Judge Glenn Feldman scores it 97-94 Wise. And Judge Bob Paulino scores it 96-94 to the winner by split decision, Willy Wise.
So Willy Wise scores a split decision over Jose Antonio Rivera, handing Rivera his first loss in 24 fights, and Wise will improve to 21-3 with 4 draws. And standing by with the winner is our Dave Bontempo. David.
I think we have finally succeeded at that. Willie, do you think you took him to school here tonight?
Most definitely. I trained so hard for this fight. And, it was, I was so psyched. Mentally, physically, I was doing 5,000 crunches and stomach exercise a day. I was in shape for this one.
Guys with your style can do all they want about frustrating their opponents and making them look bad, but yet it still goes down to a split decision all the time, it seems.
Hey, you said it. I did.
Truth, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
Somebody's hometown, that's what happens.
What did you feel was the key for you here? When did you think that really it was going your way?
When I got in here. When I got in, I was mentally psyched because I'm in the zone, I put myself in the wise zone. That's the dimension that when people put you down, you hit a different level in your career, where nothing matters but defeating the next opponent.
How big is this? You beat a pretty big puncher.
Yeah, I did. I let everybody know that give me my break. That's all I'm asking for is my break. Let me fight one of the big guys, Even one of the guys halfway up there, let me fight him. Give Willy Wise a chance, Okay.
After all these draws, you finally got one of these to go your way tonight.
Oh, most definitely.
When you heard split decision, what did you think?
Draw, definitely draw, It's been, my career been ups and downs, but right now I've been focused ever since the Australian fight, and everybody I've been, different level, Stay mental, the PMS, man.
Well, listen, congratulations, a big win for you. Willy Wise gets the close call. We'll be seeing more of you. Let's take it back now to Gus Johnson.
Well, don't forget, coming up next for our main event, Louis Viter and Mickey Ward. Stay with us.